You've probably heard that Eve was formed from one of Adam's ribs, but the reason behind that translation choice might be misogyny.
Let's see what the misogynistic early 17th century had to say about this. The woman was made of a rib out of the side of Adam, not made out of his head to rule over him, nor out of his feet to be trampled upon by him, but out of his side to be equal with him, under his arm to be protected, and near his heart to be beloved. It's just dripping with misogyny.
In the Bible, there's actually a proper anatomic word for a rib bone. It's the Aramaic Allah, and we see it in places like Daniel, where a bear has 3 rib bones in his mouth.
I mean, the Blade Runner music is a dead giveaway, but it's not found in places like Daniel. It's only found in Daniel. And the book of Daniel is philologically different than the rest of the Old Testament. Trying to relate words in the book of Daniel, especially in later chapters of Daniel, to the rest of the Old Testament would be like us trying to take our modern day vocabulary and relating it to King James English.
Genesis, when Eve is being formed, it says that God took a selah from Adam. And this word is never translated as rib anywhere else in the Bible. In all 40 other instances, it's either translated as half or side.
Except when it's not. In 1 Kings 6:15, it uses the word twice, cedar boards and cypress boards in the CSB. It can also be translated as cedar ribs and cypress ribs. And if you're saying that doesn't make a whole lot of sense in reference to a temple, just look up architectural ribs or building ribs on Google. It's a thing. Furthermore, if you take a look at the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament, which modern Bible translators rely on heavily to understand how to translate that Old Testament into English, it uses the word plura. Plura is also a little bit ambiguous because it can mean the side or it can mean a rib. Furthermore, whenever we're talking about body parts, either in the New or Old Testament, it can be difficult to understand what the writer is actually talking about. For example, where did Jesus have his nails driven through? Was it his hand, when his palm? Well, the Greek word can either mean palm or it can mean wrist, because this is referred to as the hand. People in antiquity weren't anatomically concise. Furthermore, the root word of selah is salah, which means to curve. And furthermore, when Adam sees woman, he says, "This is at last bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh." And in the midst of Genesis, where everything is made after its own kind, it would be a little bit weird for Adam to say something about woman that wasn't after his own kind. Meaning the fact that Adam starts with, "This is bone of my bone," is a context clue here that Eve was made from a rib. Is it 100% for certain? No, I have some translations that translate it as side. To say there's some misogynistic conspiracy? Come on.